Man,
Yeah, man.
we were just talking about the fact, man, I've been eating the same order for 23 years at Cookout.
Automatic, right?
Crazy. Automatic. I don't even think about getting nothing else. Everyone know when I deviate, I do deviate every blue moon, and it's to the little chicken sandwich. I don't remember what style I get because I don't eat it that often, but I will get the little grilled chicken sandwich
every now
when
and
I'm feeling healthy.
But see, that's when you feeling healthy. You get the grilled chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
Hey, but that's. But when you do, is it still really deviating? Because you're kind of still reverting to a
one of two options.
Yeah, one or two options. So it's really not a deviation, is it?
Not truly. Not truly. I'll do it.
It's like an alternate deviation. Yeah. Alternate stand.
Yeah, I probably done had that chicken sandwich 20 times in life. But for the most part, it's a go-to. I'm very consistent with my order.
So
at this age, I don't think I'm gonna change, man.
Yeah. When you get to a certain age, like right before we went on, I had mentioned that when you get to a certain age, when you get to this age, particularly for me, I know deviation is not a thing. We don't deviate no more. Do not deviate anymore.
My good deviating years is over. Like, shoot.
Like exploration, trying to feel things out and figure things out. That was 20 years ago. And once you figured it out 20 years ago, like you just stick with what worked. You stick with what you like. You stick with what you know. And you just ride it out. And this is it. This is it. I'm settled in. I ain't deviating.
Nah, man. They say people get old and stubborn and stuck in their ways, and I can see how it happens.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable here. And we all ain't
comfortable here
in our latter life. You know what I'm saying? So stop making me uncomfortable with new technology.
I mean, like I know I mentioned it myself, like growing up and having to move around a lot throughout my life and having to see different changes and having to shift and adjust. But when I find home, we talked about how loyal I am when it comes to like brands and certain things.
Yeah.
When I settle in on the things that I can control on settling in and not having to deviate from. I don't, and I won't. And it's almost impossible to get me to deviate. I'll try this.
Until they give up.
Nah.
Until your brain go out of business, you there with them.
Until my brain go out of business. Hey, as a matter of fact, so you know I'm looking for a new phone, right? Samsung guy, new Samsung just dropped, and I was looking at the Samsung.
Took me forever to get you on board with us too.
For real, took forever, and this is where I'm going. This is where I'm going. So I'm looking at the new phone, and I'm like, man, this phone looks real familiar. You know, it kind of looks like my BlackBerry that I had, the first touchscreen BlackBerry that I ever got. And I started lining them up. I was going to send you a picture of all the BlackBerries I ever owned, from the Curve to the first full no button touchscreen. I remember I wanted the Pearl real bad. Never got the Pearl. Almost got that.
I had the Pearl. I had the Curve. I had the Curve or the Pearl.
I feel like you had the Curve too, but I feel like you had the Pearl first. Maybe not.
Like
I don't know.
I started with the Pearl and then went to the Curve. And then after that, I said, hey, man, we had fun together, bro. But I'm headed to go get the Samsung.
You know what I'm saying? The little track ball. Then we went to the track pad.
Yeah.
And then it had the touch screen. So the first all full touchscreen BlackBerry, I remember having that. And I took screenshots of all the pictures. I was going to send them to you last night. But I held off. I should have annoyed you with this because I knew it was going to annoy you. And I remember I had the slide up, the touchscreen with the buttons underneath. That was best phone ever. Until it died. And then I wanted to get another BlackBerry. And BlackBerries weren't selling anymore. So I had to go Samsung.
Yeah.
But first, hey, I got that Pixel first. I went for the Google Pixel. Had it for like a week and a half. Took it back, like, nah. Let me go ahead and get that Samsung Note. Give me the Note. Went with the Note. And I've been stuck ever since. Creatures of habit, stubborn, stuck in our ways, and we don't deviate.
No.
Until forced to.
Pretty much. Hey, and you were very late to the party. Which Note did you start with?
Nah.
You didn't start with we was deep in the Samsung world before you gave up on BlackBerry. Like, you know, you was like,
yeah, it was maybe 2018.
they were business. Yeah, before
I had my BlackBerry up until 2018. 2018. Yeah, BlackBerry was already out of business until my BlackBerry died. So my BlackBerry died. BlackBerry was probably gone for like maybe what, a year, 2 years prior to.
Yeah.
So about 2018, I jumped to the Note 9. Yeah, Note 9, and I had the Note ever since. Until they got rid of the Note, and they ended up bringing it back, and then kind of bringing it to the with the Ultra, and like kind of converging it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think I left you. When did I get on Galaxy? I think I got like the 3, something like that. I think I started
like
Team Galaxy around the 3. So I left you back in like 11 or 12.
12,
you know,
yeah.
like, yeah. And was like, hey. And when I left, I remember telling you this. This is the best phone on the market. I remember telling you, this is the best phone on the market, bro. You need to come over. Like, you know, this is, I knew I upgraded. And I knew that I was looking at the people with my iPhones back in the day, like, nah, bro.
Like, nah, that ain't it.
You ain't doing what I'm doing right
You ain't
now.
doing it, yeah.
Smoking it. This technology crazy. Like I knew I was multitasking and doing stuff that you couldn't do on other phones, man. So it took me, a good 6 years to get you to come over. And even then, you didn't want to come into my world. You was like, nah, bro, I'm gonna do my own thing and do this Note. You know, and then I eventually came over to your world in the Plus.
In the Ultra or whatever, the Ultra,
yeah.
Notes last, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
but even before then, though, when BlackBerry was going out, they switched to an Android operating system. So I still had the Android. I was still in the Android ecosystem for a minute before that died. So I kind of skirted into your world just a little bit, but by force. But by force.
Even then, when you first came over, you tried to get that old BlackBerry look to your screen too. I remember you downloading all this fonts and stuff to make it look like the old BlackBerry. It's like, man, dude.
And guess what?
Still do, right?
Still do. Well, to a degree. My keyboard. It's a BlackBerry.
It is very BlackBerry-ish.
No, it is a BlackBerry keyboard. Literally, like I download the APK and download that to every single phone I've had since I had a Samsung. I put the BlackBerry keyboard on my Samsungs.
Hey man, BBM Messenger though was the best though. I got to give it that.
Come on now. Hey, if you know, you know. Yeah, BBM is the GOAT forever.
That's the GOAT of messengers, man. There's no messaging system better than that, even to this day. WhatsApp is the closest, and it ain't BBM.
It was. You know what? I mean, it is. Remember when BBM went out of service, and we were forced to find, like, we used to communicate on BBM more than anything. Like, we wouldn't text each other. It was all BBM.
Never. We still don't text each other. You're not in my text thread. I looked through all my texts. I got hundreds of numbers in there. You're not one of them.
Never in there. And you know what I'm saying? This messaging has been going on for decades to this point, decade and a half to this point. And I remember when BBM went out of service, we was like, man, what we gonna do? How we gonna communicate? Nothing. We could just text each other. That wasn't even an option.
No, bro. We tried at one point. It was like, nah, this don't feel right.
They just say what to say,
you, bro. We gotta find something. Like
we gotta find something.
Kick
Messenger.
We went to
Kick. A couple other things.
Another one of them. Yeah, we went a couple places, man.
But I definitely remember Kick. And then I remember we stumbled on WhatsApp. This before WhatsApp was like widely known for people to use. Like people weren't using WhatsApp like they use it now. And I almost hate the fact that people use WhatsApp, especially like with work. Like every job, like every duty assignment I've been to, everybody uses WhatsApp to communicate for mass communication. I remember anytime I got a WhatsApp icon message, I knew it was from you. Like, bet. My homie just hit me up. Bet. I know that's Jared. But now it's like everybody shoot through WhatsApp, everybody hit WhatsApp, whatever, work related, non-work related, whatever. It's like
feels intrusive now, doesn't it? Having all these other people, man. Yeah.
I was like, this was something that me and my homie back in the day that we feel like I feel like we found it.
I feel like a founding father in WhatsApp. We got in very early. Everybody's in there because Facebook bought it out, but we were in long before Facebook.
Way before then. Way before then.
I know it's overpopulated at this point because me and my pops don't text. We only communicate through WhatsApp. And the fact that me and my father are doing it, I'm like, okay, it's world known now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So yeah, everybody on it now. Everybody's on it. But yeah, like when BBM went down, we had to find some kind of similar replacement. WhatsApp was it. Creatures of habit. We don't deviate. Don't deviate, man.
Not at all, bro. Hey, man. I think we can also be considered creatures of habit with some of our cigar choices. And, you know, we find our brands we like. And this show is good at forcing us to go into brands we are unfamiliar with, which is how we end up finding new ones that we like, which is beautiful for us because it forces us not to be a creature of habit. Now, every once in a while, us being a creature of habit forces us, well, it doesn't force us, but we end up not revisiting stuff that we didn't enjoy. So for this episode, I broke my habit. I deviated. I decided to go back and revisit some brands that we've been hard on today. And I don't know, maybe I'm a glutton for pain. Maybe today I felt like, I want to put my foot in somebody's back end today. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I just felt like trying to revisit something old. And I almost decided to buy back-to-back weeks to do it. But then I said, nah. The other
can't risk it twice.
Well, it was just too many light-skinned options in the other one. So I said, you know what? I need something. I need that Maduro. If you ain't got no Maduros in here for me in this brand, I'm not going to do it. But as you can see, I'm very Maduro today.
Yeah. You cover up that band still.
And this is the backside of that band. But when I spin that band around,
I see. It's blurry, but I know what that is. It's blurry, but I know what that is.
That's
definitely a brick house.
That's a brick house.
Definitely a brick house.
I went with the Brick House Classic.
I had nightmares about that logo.
Yeah. We with the Brick House Classic today. And let me give you some information on it. I got the Ecuador wrapper. I got the Nicaraguan origin, Nicaraguan binder, Nicaraguan filler.
Okay.
Yeah. And they say this is number 10 of 2024.
It's got to be Cat. Who said it? Cigar aficionado?
You know.
Ooh.
Yeah. This is, hold on, who listed it as? This is, aficionado. No, this isn't aficionado. This is your hometown favorites, Cigar International.
Okay.
Number 10.
I wonder how they rate their cigars. That would have to be studied.
I know. I'm looking through some of their lineup. I'm not mad at some of the names they got in here. Number 1 was my father, the Judge Grand Robusto.
Okay.
You know, we got some nice names in here. Plasencia Coseca, 17, and that's the only place it ranks in the top 25, though. I don't like that. Drop a dime on that. I don't like that at all.
So we can't trust this rating? We're gonna find out. I mean, you've already been smoking it so far, so I'm pretty sure you already have some ideas you're drumming up as far as how you perceive this cigar, of where it's going already. I don't know if I want to hear just yet, but if you feel like letting us know,
I don't want to do it because I want to build anticipation. Because for those who aren't in the know, Brick House is one of those brands we take a big old dump on.
Yes.
Brick House, and
for years.
Gurkha and Brick House are the two that we are the hardest on out of all brands. And I'll say Gurkha is the other one I was looking for, but it was all light skin. And I said, I'll be damned if I get a light skin Gurkha. We ain't doing that. So I ain't doing that.
Yeah. 2 wrongs don't make a right. So nah. So which Brick House do we have? Is it Brick House what?
Classic
at that.
Yep. J.C. Newman Cigar Company, Brick House. So yeah,
all right,
that's where I'm at today.
All right, okay.
I deviated.
I mean, I'm not mad at it. Me, as far as me, mine is more so of a creature of habit type of thing that I cannot pull myself away from. For some reason, Alec Bradley, I cannot seem to give up on him. I can't. I've tried.
Yeah.
And I've tried. And again, I've tried. But yet and still here I am with a Alec Bradley. All right, so we know that Alec Bradley's gone through some changes as far as how they've been handled. Are the Suns handling the company? The Scandinavian Tobacco Company, are they now the calling the shots and making sure that these tobaccos are being curated the right way?
Right. I spent a lot of time in the Alec Bradley section when I picked out my stick too, man. So I tried to find something for Alec. Yeah.
Hey, I've given Alec Bradley chance after chance after chance after chance, and I can't seem to give up on them. They disappointed me time after time after time after time again, but something will not let me give up on Alec Bradley. And I find myself here with this fine and rare, this A11 FYT. This is a 2024 version of their limited edition fine and rare cigars. I think this is the 11th year, probably. I think that's what the A11 means, annual 11 years of them dropping this fine and rare. So this one was released late 2024, I think November 2024, if I'm not mistaken. I think it says it on the band. Yeah, issue 2024. Yep, 11/11/2024. They got the production date and the release dates all on the band there. So a lot of information on this band. So the Scandinavian Tobacco Company, who's bought Alec Bradley, their production line, I guess, they continue with the tradition of the fine and rare. And this whole idea of the fine and rare, they're using 10 different tobaccos master blended into the cigar to try to make the most fine and rare stick that they can possibly produce. So this is where we are with this fine and rare. And sounds like a lot. It sounds like an impossible task. Scary.
For them. I don't like them taking this risk. Rocky, yeah, you do it.
Drew, go for it. Monte Cristo, go for it. You know, but at the same time, this Scandinavian Tobacco Company, I want to say they bought them in 2023. So this is a new regime they're under. So how are they handling the cigar line? How are they handling Alec Bradley? How are they handling these blends of these cigars? This is kind of what piqued my interest in this particular stick. To say, is this the cigar that's going to bring them back? Because what caught my eye first was the price point, $26 for this Alec Bradley. Then I started looking at the history of it, looking at the Scandinavian Tobacco Company, looking at how they blended this cigar, and it piqued my interest to say, maybe this is the one that's going to bring them back. It's going to put them back where they need to be. But then if they do, is it true Alec Bradley? That's a question.
Man, look, I almost bought the Fresnado just for some personal time, cigars time.
Yeah. Which is cool.
But I passed on it. Well, you know, because I know that they haven't quite been blending exactly the same. I didn't. But now that you mentioned, I wasn't even aware that the Scandinavian company bought them. So I'm wondering if they cleaned up the mix on it a little bit and got it how it needs to be. So it kind of makes me be like, maybe I should have got it. You know what I'm saying? But that should have been their top priority. Let's fix these blends on some of the old the oldies and make them goodies again.
Because it was completely off. Whatever was produced in that time frame, I can't remember when the brothers actually took over the company. But from that particular period up until recently, today I'm smoking a cigar, Alec Bradley cigar, but up until last year, I think it was the last one I smoked, early last year, the blend was still off. The blend was not what I was looking for. So that, like you said, a priority for Alec Bradley, like get to the weeds, figure out what's wrong with these blends. Why are we not coming together? Why is it not meshing like it should?
That's what I would like to see them focus on instead of trying to figure out how to make a fine and rare cigar. You know what I'm saying? That's when you stunting at that point, like, I got it. You know what I'm saying? Let me show y'all what else I can do. But y'all ain't got the basics figured out yet, man. You know. But you know what I'm saying? Scandinavian company, whatever your actual name is, go fix it, man. We want this brand to succeed, man. So you know, it is what it is. Sir. Hopefully this one's good.
Segue. Somebody who has figured it out. They figured out the master blend, whether it's having the right coaches, the right players, the right quarterback, the right regime, and the right script, the right refs. The Kansas City Chiefs back in the Super Bowl. Yeah. They figured it out. They did what Alec Bradley couldn't do. They know how to put it together. You know, The
They
right
do.
Knicks
I got to give it to
to
them.
make it all the way. And they're back against the Eagles again. I think this Eagles' second time in 3 years. Is it?
Yeah, think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So we got another go.
this is it's interesting what you said. You said, they had the right script and, that choice of words, you know what I'm saying? Because there are people that feel that way. There are people that feel that way. Now, let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Is this dynasty a legitimate dynasty? Is Patrick Mahomes really that good? You know what I'm saying? Is this team really that good? Is he really the Jordan of the NFL, or not the NFL in general, but just as far as quarterbacks and stuff, like, or is he got some hometown favorites being made?
I mean, on the surface, you have to say, is he the MJ of the NFL and of this era? You would have to say yes. You have to say yes. Making it back these many times in such a short amount of time period, and blocking a lot of players from getting, like, that's one thing that Jordan did. He kept some great players from getting to the promised land. Mahomes is doing the exact same thing. He's blocking a lot of great players from getting to the promised land, and he's making it. And then he's not just making it; he's winning. That's two. That's you got to do both of them. You know what I'm saying? Lock down your conference, make it all the way, and then win the bad boy. And he's doing it. So just off of the sheer fact of that, you have to put him in that class, and you have to say, yes, that's what I'm seeing. That's what's going down. So that's what it is. Now, on the flip side, is he being helped along the way? Is he being helped along the way? And if you ask me, is he the best person at his position?
Yeah, is he the greatest quarterback you've seen with your eyes?
With my eyes, I was like, I don't. It baffles me because I don't watch all the games, right? I don't watch all Kansas City games. But whenever I do catch a Kansas City game, Mahomes doesn't look that great to me. Okay. I would have to watch more. I would have to.
You feel like you've seen better, right?
I feel like I've seen way better, better when it comes to physical attributes. When it comes to even accuracy, like he's super accurate. He can hit him on a dime. He can hit him in while scrambling and stuff like that. He can do it. But at the same time, when you got when you can play fearless with, I know I'm not going to get touched, and if I get touched, it's going to be a nasty penalty. So I can take more risk and do whatever it is I need to do. You might play a little bit more risky, and you can be a little bit more accurate because you don't have the fear of being hit like some other quarterbacks. Like I gotta take it to Detroit. I got to. Stafford and no, I ain't talking about Jared. Okay. I'm going back to Matthew Stafford days.
Okay.
Of course, I've seen way more Stafford games than Jared Goff games.
Right.
But Stafford used to get plummeted, like just laid out time after time again. And Aaron Rodgers is another person who used to get hit like crazy. You can go down the line, list of quarterbacks who've gotten just ran over. You know, you can't even breathe on Patrick Mahomes. So, of course, he's going to be able to get off what he needs to get off. Cam Newton's taking some punishment, even though he was a physical quarterback who would run over people. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time...
Hey, it sounds like he is the Jordan. It sounds like he is the Jordan.
Can't touch him. Jordan.
Yeah, you know, Magic during the Olympics came up, put his hand on his shoulder. He said, "Is that a foul, Mike? You know, you can't get too close to him."
So hey, but yeah, I guess by that standard, yeah, he is the MJ. Can't touch him, can't foul him, can't hit the bad boy. Hey, look, hey, so, but at the same time, like I'm just saying, like when you know you can't get hit and you know that you're protected by the refs, I feel like every single play in just a few games, and I only usually watch the Kansas City games either when they play Detroit or they're in the playoffs, and I'm watching playoff games. It feels like the refs got a hand in their pocket ready to pull the flag anytime something don't go Kansas City's way. Like, oh, no, he dropped the pass, flag, something. Like, it seems like almost on task that, hey, look, if something doesn't go Kansas City's way, we got a flag in our pocket to throw a flag. That's what it feels like. Just calling it like I see it.
Now, let me ask you that. Let me ask you this. Is that to just protect the who they might be grooming to the face of the league? You know what I'm saying? Is that just to protect your star, or is that really to make sure he wins, that you feel like these flags are being thrown on him? No. Because I mean, it don't necessarily have to be to influence the outcome of the game as much as we just protect this guy.
Well, see, that's the part of
which they kind of go hand in hand ultimately, because in the NFL you only got so many plays and every play count.
I don't know what it is about Kansas City. I've never been to Kansas City before. Never even been to the state of Missouri, right? Missouri, yeah. But something about the NFL wants them to win. Like, I feel like there's something that's on the side of the Chiefs, that they want that franchise to win, not just Mahomes himself, like protecting him and making sure he becomes the face of the league, or is the face, or maintains the face of the league, and being that star name. That's one part. Yeah. But it's something about the Chiefs. I don't know if somebody came out their pocket and dropped a nice little paycheck on somebody's desk to say, hey, let me make sure that this happens. And then that Vegas always wins on odds, or whatever it is, that we're gonna be good to shore up this three-peat, or this dynasty that we're building.
And it's not traditionally the market you would think that they would put the money behind, or put this type
you think it would be like New York
intent behind,
or somewhere in LA, or what I'm saying, one of the big city markets, a small city market with a huge push for their franchise. I don't know why. I don't know what. Somebody had to pay somebody, because if you look at these games and you look at some of these outcomes, it's you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, makes you scratch your head a little bit.
Yeah, head scratcher. It's a head scratcher. Just saying.
So is it safe to put your money? Safe to put your money on them?
Yeah.
Because once you do, that could shift everything. You put your money on them.
Yeah, because Vegas wants to win. Vegas wants to win.
Yeah.
But then at the same time,
once it gets everybody putting money on them, Eagles mess around and win, and before you know it, we officially have like a rivalry going here. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Find a way to bring them both back.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see the Eagles. I mean, I love the city of Philadelphia. Don't get me wrong. I love the city of Philadelphia. I don't want to see the Eagles come back. Saquon Barkley, do it for Saquon. He deserves it. He worked hard for it. But I don't want to see this matchup again.
Well, that's a passionate fan base too, though, man. You know what I'm saying?
It is. So I think I love the city of Philly. Philly is a great city. Philly has a great fan base across all their sports. And it's just a dope city just to be in. Like, I've been to Philly several times, and it's just a dope city just to, you know what I'm saying, to get around in. Like, it's a really great spot. But just this matchup, I don't want to see it after this matchup, no matter who wins. The Super Bowl that everybody wanted to see was the Bills and the Lions.
Man, get out of here, man. Get out of here, bro.
Hey, look, if you don't believe me, if you in the comments, y'all let us know who y'all want to see in the Super Bowl. Bills and Lions.
Yeah. Hey, look, man, you said something though that did pique my interest, man. When you mentioned that that Mahomes has actually stopped a lot of great players and good teams from actually getting their shot at the big one. And I'll say this can in turn hurt your legacy long term doing that. Well, because we watched it with Mike, where now everybody thinks Mike didn't play no competition. But it's not that he didn't play any competition, just nobody got a dub while he was on top. And when nobody wins, then they don't look like they were ever as good as they were. People rewrite history and forget how good you were when you don't win. You know what I'm saying?
That Supersonics team, that was one of the best teams in history of the game. Like, the record says it, and then the eye test says it. The way they played.
Great team. Great record.
Great team.
I'm saying?
The Knicks.
Obviously, the Jazz team was a dynasty. You know what I'm saying? They just didn't win a championship.
Yeah, to go to the NBA Finals back-to-back years. Come on now. And then to get stopped back-to-back years. That says something about both sides.
And they were always a great team anyway. You know what I'm saying? Even when they weren't making it to the finals, they still was a good team. You know what I'm saying? They were always a contender in the West.
Yeah.
Like, they just
that Suns team, like, I would say the teams that get downplayed the most was probably, or the team that gets downplayed the most is Portland. Which on eye test, they didn't look that great, even though they had Clyde Drexler. Like, they didn't have the big names. Clyde was a big name. People forget how good Clyde was.
Yeah,
People
Clyde
forget how good Clyde was. He was that guy.
Clyde, Porter, Kersey, Duckworth. They had a solid team.
Yeah, they had a solid team. They had a solid team, but the names just don't pop. The names don't pop. Other than Drexler, but then people downplay how great Drexler was. Drexler was a beast. Late 80s, early 90s. He was nasty.
They was putting him next to Mike.
They had to put him next to Mike.
And Mike didn't like that. But that's how good he was. That it was the conversations was being had. Are they equal players? You know what I'm saying? Which lets you know how good he was.
Yeah. For you to be putting that conversation in that comparison, that's what people need to understand. If people are trying to put somebody up in that class in conversation, that just speaks to how great somebody was if you're putting them next to greatness.
Right.
We already solidified Jordan in greatness. And there were comparisons of Drexler and Jordan that kind of lets you know how great Drexler was in all actuality if you're putting them in that class in conversation.
Yeah.
But they downplay it so much.
Yeah. So with that being said, if Mahomes continues this streak of dominance, he will have the people who live through it who will be complimentary of him, but then he'll have the next generation come around and be like, who did he beat?
But who did he play? He didn't play nobody. But then they're going to forget about Lamar Jackson and how great he was. Or Josh Allen, how great he was. They're going to forget about those things. Like, but they didn't win. Josh Allen didn't win. Lamar didn't win. They're not Super Bowl champions. Who did he play?
Yeah.
That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy.
Half of what the generation now who loves LeBron is complimentary on is the fact that look who he had to compete against. And they can say that because those guys won against him.
Yeah.
So they look like winners. You know what I'm saying? So he had to compete against juggernauts who won. Mike had to compete against juggernauts.
You lost against Steph Curry. But Steph Curry's a champion, so he had to play Steph Curry and those Warriors. You lost against Tim Duncan and the Spurs, but Tim Duncan, they're champions, but you lost against them, so that was great competition. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, you had to play against Dirk and them boys in the Mavericks, and they were champion. Well, look, all these guys got their dubs off of them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. So, it's just the fact that you was able to get your get back at some point. So I guess I get what you're saying. The balance of having both of losing to a team and letting those teams or having those teams win and become champions and then beating them at the same time says, okay, I beat world champions. So that's how great I am because my competition were world champions. But if they won championships on your watch, how great are you?
It's a weird conundrum. You know what I'm saying? But you do need to face people who are able to get the job done in order to look great. Losing actually does contribute to your greatness in that sense, you know, and when we get to watch it in other sports, like especially boxing. Boxing. The fight game is especially good for that because you can take a L and somebody else is victorious. That makes your opponent look better. So if you can come back and avenge it or fight against somebody who was a winner, a champion.
The only thing I don't like about boxing is the whole Mayweather effect. That makes it look like you can't lose. Now if you got a loss on your record, what's wrong with you? Why you lose 2 fights?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
MMA, mixed martial arts gets that right.
30-0. Yeah, they get it right. You can lose and come back and redeem yourself. It's something about that redemptive quality that builds the idea of a champion, that fighter, that warrior, or whatever it is that you're competing in your sport. Taking that loss and then coming back and redeeming yourself, that means something.
Right. And that means a whole lot more. In the fight game, it means even more because like boxing is such a analogy for life. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a metaphor for life anyway. It's really a great comparison because we all taking L's in our life and we all having to pick ourselves up off the ground after getting knocked down and keep fighting. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and I like that in like the Rocky movies or the Creed movie. Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you watch the movie, you're expecting the protagonist in the movie. Oh, he's gonna win this fight, but then in the outcomes, even in the script that they wrote, those fighters lost. But then they come back and they redeem themselves.
Yeah.
It's always been a dope concept. It's just the fact that boxing has messed that up now. That boxers don't want to fight that competition that's going to put that loss on their record. So we never get the matchups that we really want to see because, oh man, he's going to take an L. I don't want to take this L. So I'm going to duck and dodge this fighter so I don't have this L. But nah, take a loss. Like I've talked about how many times I've been, well, not how many times I've been knocked out, but I've talked about being knocked out. I've talked about my losses in fight matches. I didn't win them all, but it's how I came back. Like I took lessons from those losses. Get beaten and bruised really bad. But then I came back and it's like, all right, I see what I need to work on, come back stronger, fight a little harder, fight smarter, and then become better through those L's that I've taken. I wasn't the greatest every single time, but I got my fair share of grand champions. I got my fair share of first place trophies, my fair share of gold medals.
Yeah, and that's life. That's life. I learned lessons from that. I took my L. I learned my lesson. I came back. I didn't give up. I didn't quit. You know, and in boxing, yes, right now they're getting it wrong, but I think it moves the cycles. I think we're moving in a cycle way. The further Mayweather's removed from our minds, you know, the next generation, they're not going to be knowing that. You know what I'm saying? It's just these generation of fighters that were fighting alongside of Mayweather, they're still in that mindset, but they are starting to retire because those guys are now 36, 37, 38. In the next generation, that's going to be gone. And plus, they're making some good fights now. Guys are kind of starting to they're having like tournament style more things going on where like two guys fight, two guys other fight, the losers fight the losers, and the winners fight the winners, and they're kind of moving on. So they're starting to get that right, and that will breed the right mindset when you start knowing losing a fight doesn't mean that you're not going to get another call back to fight again. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what was going on during the Mayweather time. Well, they lost, their values down. Now they're kind of looking at like they lost, but put the losers against each other because we still want to see the matchups.
Yeah, you know, I mean, and that's been the only sport in recent years to where you lose value from losing a match. You know what I'm saying? Tennis players would lose matches. They're out of a tournament, but they come back in the next tournament. They lose the French Open. Guess what? Serena, she ready to go up for the U.S. Open. Boom. All right, whatever. Now I'm gonna win it. I'm gonna kill this tournament. Same thing with golf. There's always as many times as Tiger Woods got bounced out. Anytime Tiger Woods showed up, it's like, all right, well, we're gonna see Tiger Woods can win this one, time after time after time again, no matter what.
Right. And to shift back to basketball, we talking about Mike and his 6-0. Mike didn't like that. He didn't like that at all. He felt like we could have won 7. He was like, why would you get rid of a team that's still on top? Someone needs to knock us off before we break up. And he felt deprived of the opportunity to be knocked off the mountain. And I've heard him say it out his own mouth. We should have played until somebody beat us. He was of old school mindset on the playground. Somebody come take me off the court. And when I get taken off the court, I can leave. Like,
keep playing. Yeah.
So he wanted to go out on his shield. He wanted to take a L. He wanted to feel that. Show if you can beat me, beat me. And when I get beat, then I'm done. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of guys is of the Mayweather. Let me find a way to finesse myself into 50-0. All right, I'm out. I got out on top. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, I played the game. And, you know, Mike won't know that mindset. He don't like that 6-0 mess we be bigging him up for. Yeah. He wanted to be 7-1. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't want.
He would have gladly been 7-1 because the thing is, you can't take those 7 away. You can't take those 6 away. And then it's still at the same time, you still got more than a lot of other players who or most players who played the game. Yeah. So even with 6-1, like 7-1 dudes.
Yeah, he said the old way was somebody you know, took the throne from you. He wanted to pass the torch. He said that's the way it was supposed to always be. The game has always been that you pass the torch to somebody. He felt deprived of that through they owner. And now that we've segued into basketball a little bit here, I do want to say this. A lot of the old school stuff that we know about basketball is going away to the point that it's frustrated the old heads, but something even crazier that I never imagined they was going to get rid of is Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, is now talking about taking the game from 48 minutes to 40 minutes.
That's crazy.
It's on the table. So now instead of 12-minute quarters, we go down to 10-minute quarters.
So was there an explanation to why? This is the first time I'm hearing this.
I haven't heard it explained, but I can only assume the players are already low managing. You know what I'm saying? So maybe if we can take some playing time off of them a little bit, it's easier on their bodies.
Yeah,
And
that's
also,
crazy.
Adam Silver is very big into making the game more watchable. So he's taking defense away to honor the offensive game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To showcase the offensive game a little bit more. And I think he feels like if we can do it in 40 minutes, the pace will be an even faster pace.
But see, here's the
It'll
thing.
automatically bring scoring down a little bit also, so them scores on
which is necessary. Which is necessary. I sent you a screenshot of, I think the Knicks, I can't remember who they were playing, but they put up 143 points. I just saw the box score and like, yo, this is insane. I'm like, surely this went into like double overtime. And I pulled it up like, this ain't even a double OT game.
No.
This game did not go into double overtime.
If
this
you
was regulation,
every single game of regulation, they're all 120 to 140. Every single game is up to that now. Like scoring.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to see a game like that.
Blowouts.
I remember when the team was scored, they're all blowouts. So it's at the same time like when the team gets to the point to where they feel that they're not going to win, they slow down on playing, and the other team just keeps chucking up threes, and they hit those threes, and now before you know it, it's a 30-point game. In the end of the fourth quarter, game was over in the third quarter because the team gave up, which is probably why they're gonna like you thinking about changing the quarters from 12 to 10 and make it a 40-minute game because teams ain't even playing the stretch anymore, and then the score is just getting blown out of proportion because guess what? Now we're 30 down. Yeah, no, we're 20 down. Yeah, we got 8 minutes left in the quarter, but we're not even gonna play hard anymore. We're packing it up, waiting for the getting ready for the next game.
Yeah,
you're packing it up 8 minutes into the fourth quarter, or 8 minutes with 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? So you're forfeiting those 8 minutes anyway. That's probably what he's seeing, which makes the game unwatchable. Like you can probably walk out of most basketball arenas at the end of or at the beginning of the fourth quarter, be like, yeah, man, this one's over. I'm going home.
Yeah, I've watched
just keep chucking up threes.
I watch more games now than I have recently, and I never find myself in the fourth quarter in games anymore. I usually stop watching in the third in most games. You know what I'm saying? So,
which is crazy because most games you can pretty much miss the first half, start right in the second half, watch the third and fourth quarter, and still be just as entertaining.
Yeah.
Now it's like you better watch the first half, and then after that, okay, it's over. You can cut it off halfway to the third quarter and be good to go.
Yeah. So what do you think about the 12-minute thing? Do you think it's necessary? You hate it? I mean, not 12, but 12 to 10. Necessary.
I want to see teams compete again. Just compete. 12 minutes. Compete for those 12 minutes in every single quarter. Compete. The competition. Not saying that this is not all teams. I've watched some games, and there's some players who are still out there competing. You know what I'm saying? From tip off to final buzzer, they're competing. Possession after possession, but the majority of what I'm seeing, they're not competing for 48 straight minutes. They're taking quarters off. They're taking halves off. You know what I'm saying? So I understand thinking that, okay, let's shorten the game, but you're getting so much luxury anyway. A lot of players aren't playing back-to-backs. They're choosing what games to show up for. You ask me when I'm going to go to a Spurs game. Like, I don't even know if I should trust going to some of these games. Because who am I going to watch? I don't even know what players am I going to watch. Who's showing up that day? Who's suiting up that day? You know what I mean? Like I remember, and this was when I went to a Pistons game. This was back when it was Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace, and Chauncey Billups didn't play.
Right.
The other four guys were there. They were doing their thing, but Chauncey Billups missed the game, and I was like, man, I felt slighted. Even though the rest of the Pistons were doing their thing, it was a great game. I still felt slighted because I didn't get to see Chauncey Billups on the court, being the floor general that he is. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, should I go spend my money? Because I don't even know if, is Wemby gonna play tonight?
Wemby gonna play. Chris Paul might sit out. Like you never know. Like,
he old. Like he gonna rest his legs. You know what I'm saying? Giannis and them was in town. Giannis played. It was. I heard it was a pretty decent game, but it's like you never know.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. Actually, they got a game. The Hawks got a game against the Bucks coming up, and my son's favorite player is Dame, and I want to buy the tickets for it, but I'm so paranoid. I'm like, what if I buy the tickets and they sit out? You know, it's close to All-Star. You know what I'm saying? I was like, what if they sit out?
Exactly.
Like, and it's just like, man, I don't want to buy the tickets in advance and You know,
You
what
feel
am I
slighted.
there for? Now I'm there for the you know, the third best player on the team to watch him. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do that. Like,
And it's already a watered down product as it is. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So it's like once your stars don't show up or they don't suit up, then what are we there for? What are we there for? You know
yeah.
what I mean? So I don't like the way I don't like the idea of it. I just want to see players compete and compete with that fervor that they always used to compete with in any sport. Have that fight, have that dog, and go at it from tip off to the end. I want to be
But
entertained. I want to be
you know
entertained.
what? Though I this is Adam Silver's fault, and I'm gonna say this on record. It's about time for Adam to go ahead and hang it up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Adam Silver need to hang it up.
Pass,
You've done
yeah,
enough
pass it on.
damage to this league. Pass it on, bro. Pass it on. I ain't asking for you to get fired, but I'm asking for you to resign. Like, please just give up because you've changed the league so much, and now you're trying to clean up behind your own
Yeah,
mistakes. This
and I
10-minute
think
thing is you cleaning up where you messed up by
messed up.
trying to make it an offensive league, and now it's out of control. Now I got to try to fix it. You got to change the All-Star game because
That
you
too.
messed up the All-Star game so much. Now I got to fix it. Stop fixing stuff, bro. Just take it back to how it was, and let's get some
And
a blend
the
of modern and old school.
the thing that's killing him and killing the game was the very thing that people loved him for. The players loved him for. He was a players commissioner, you know, always on the side of the players and making sure that the players felt the best and we're in the best types of conditions to where now you baby the players too much and lean to the players too much that you forgot about the fans. You know, yes, James Harden got his triple doubles and Westbrook got his triple doubles, and the games become offensive show to watch. And people have padded their stats and padded their pockets now because those stats are matching. But at the same time, like a lot of these stats, I don't even pay it. I don't even want to hear no stats. I don't want to hear about LaMelo dropping 40. It means nothing to me.
It don't matter anymore.
A triple double means nothing to me. Like I heard about LaMelo, I didn't even blink. Oh, he dropped 40 for another game, the third game, whatever. I remember back in 1996, Allen Iverson. Oh, he had another 40-point game. He had another 50-point game. That was like, yo, he going off. Yeah. But he was scoring 40 and 50 when the box score at the end of the game was 96, not 140.
96, and you knew he got knocked to the floor 12 times that game to get that 40. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You knew they was running a zone on him. You knew they was hand checking him. You knew they was really beating him up.
They were putting him through the gauntlet. And he got them 40 points in the gauntlet.
He earned 40 through the fire. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's different. Versus, you know, the spacing allows it. And people are just abusing the fact that you can't crowd the lane. How long he been there? 2 seconds? All right, he about to come out the lane. I'm about to go right on in. And the defender can't, you know. Okay, so I'll say this. You brought up James Harden. I hate it when he started abusing the rules and stuff like that. But at the same time, as long as guys were still playing defense, it's like, as long as they can still be a little physical with them, I'll take that. I'll take the ball handling, you know, rules, exceptions y'all allowing. But let them be able to defend them at least, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you can't do both. You can't be able to break all the ball handling rules and they can't be physical with you or guard you. You know,
some of these carries I'm seeing, like the ball will be up here and they'll carry it for like a good minute and a half and then drop it and dribble.
It's egregious, you know what I'm saying? But I'll take that if I can see some good defense against it, to at least stop that mess. Cool. Let them have unlimited access to whatever moves they want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, because yes, you want to keep the offense exciting. You know, fine. Break those rules. But man, we got to bring some defense back, man. It might not be
defense. It used to be a show. Defense used to be a show, though. I wanted to see Morning. Come on, be a defensive stopper. I want to see Ben Wallace be a stopper. I wanted to see Gary Payton get them picks, like just picking pockets. Like that was a show. I want to see chase down blocks. Defense was a show.
That's a skill set.
Was a show. It was a skill set.
Yeah. Yeah, don't deprive it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, man. Like, okay, this is what's interesting in boxing, right? Go back to boxing. Boxing announcers do a poor job with showing fans and casual fans what they're seeing in the ring. Like with Mayweather, right? Mayweather can look very boring to somebody who doesn't understand fighting. But the people who really understand what they're looking at, they like, wow, this dude is a master in there. You know what I'm saying?
Science.
So it's on the people to showcase, hey, this is what he's doing, and this is why this is special. Watch his feet. Watch, you know what I'm saying? Watch how he's keeping distance with the jab or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So with basketball, the announcers have to do a job, and not even just the announcers, just the sport in general has to do a good job to not let certain nuances of the game be boring. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't need to just be run and gun, and for a casual person can sit down and be like, that was incredible, and they don't know what they're looking at. You should teach them the sport. So when they see a good defensive play, they know what was special about that. But if you're not doing that, then of course we got to just keep feeding people who would just don't know what they're seeing, and it got to be exciting to them.
Yeah, they just see an action. Like, oh, he put up another three. Oh, he nice dunk, blah, 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 whatever. But no, it's something to cut off players' angles. It's taking away their strong hand. It's a thing to it. Cutting off lanes, cutting off passing lanes, all those things. It's a thing to it. And it can be exciting to watch. But like you said, they have to put a point to pointing those things out to you saw how he did that? That was smart. You know what I mean? Like, defense can be exciting. Just like in football. When you get a nice defensive play in football, that's exciting to watch. You got to be able to do the same. Like you said in boxing, a nice defensive play or a defensive stance in boxing. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that was sweet how he was able to slip that jab and his footwork. He cut this off. He took his strong blow away. You know what I'm saying? He took the uppercut away from him. That was smart.
Yeah, and football is fantastic at that. And look how passionate football fans are. You know what I'm saying? They respect both sides of the ball. You know what I'm saying? And basketball got to get better with that, man. Like, look, man, look how in America, I know baseball is supposed to be the darling, but it is really basketball and football. You know what I'm saying? And basketball could learn from football. The NBA could learn from the NFL more specifically. You know what I'm saying? Like, watch how they're doing things and take some of that and bring that in. You know what I'm saying? Because we need to make the possessions in the NBA mean more. But it's so many possessions, it means nothing.
Yeah. You can take plays off. But back in the day, back in my Bad Boys 2 Pistons era, we weren't taking no plays off.
Yeah.
Offense and defensive. Every possession meant something.
And I'm not saying they need to be like Charles Barkley sitting there on the shot clock for 20 seconds and down. You know, I get getting rid of that element of it, you know, but at the same time.
Better offensive schemes. You know what I mean? Like, show that 24-hour clock and do something dynamic in those 24 hours, but 24-second clock. But do something dynamic in those 24 seconds. Make those 24 seconds mean something. And then also keep it entertaining.
Right. Hey, man, speaking of dynamic, let's see if we had some dynamic cigars today.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say yours for last because you got that brick house and I want to hear it. so I want to get all I got to say about mine so I can tune in. You got my 100% attention when it comes to this brick house.
Okay.
I'm curious. All right. But Alec Bradley, man. I need to do some more research about the Scandinavian tobacco company that got Alec Bradley by the reins right now, because so far so good with this where we at? What is this? The Fine and Rare. There we go. Fine and Rare. I don't know what it did with his blends, and I meant to kind of rattle off some of these tobaccos that they used, but they did a very, very fine job with the blend. I am a fan. I will have to say this is probably one of the better Alec Bradleys that I've smoked in my entire 10-year time of smoking cigars. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Okay, so it looks like tobacco used in this Fine and Rare was a Honduran Cirillo from 1998, 1999, a Honduran Corojo from 1999, a Nicaraguan, a Honduran, and another Nicaraguan from Esteli, Trojes, and then Nicaraguan 1998 from Jalapa. So they took all these different types of tobacco blends and kind of just put them together and did something. And they did something right. I don't know what they did, but they did it right.
Okay.
So tasting notes, I got some kind of sweet, like a sweet pepper, which is very rare when it comes to cigars. So I don't think I've ever really picked this up before. But like a sweet pepper, not a sweet cigar, and not a really peppery, spicy cigar, but like if you can think of a like a sweet pepper, it's kind of what I got in here, with some good undertones of like a little bit of cocoa, like a light mocha. I want to say a light mocha that kind of comes in the tail end of this the sweet pepper, which is weird but good. Like it's been kind of hard to like really put it together into a solid one type of flavor. It is dynamic when it comes to flavors. So that interesting mocha, some sweet pepper with some good oak and probably some molasses that kind of also goes in the tone with that mocha too. Which just comes together really well. Like it's when they say fine and rare, I can say fine and rare. Like if you took just like a nice little bowl of some kind of like mixed chopped salad and just like shook it up and put it together, and it's just like somehow how it works. Like you go to it and you get your blends right. It's like if you ever go to a particular restaurant where you got all your little trinkets that you put together, and like that blend don't work. Some threw it off. But for some reason, whatever they did, whatever blends they decided to pull together, it just matches. It just matches. Even that sweet pepper with the mocha, which is two extremes of flavors that I would not think to put together. And then that molasses tying it together, and that oak kind of tying it together, being like that that fine string of something that just binds it like a bridge or whatever. It does it very well. And I really like this cigar. And I can see myself smoking this cigar. The aroma's really nice. The constructed very well. They put some time and effort into this band. It's a very sightly band with some good information on it. So they took time with the details. So fine and rare, very detailed cigar with really good blends, dynamic flavors that are just bridged almost seamlessly. So I am going to rate this Alec Bradley in the 4s. More specifically, 4.4 for this Alec Bradley.
Okay.
I'd be pressed to say it's the best. Only way I'm not going to say it's the best because early on when we had Alec Bradley in the beginning, they were really, really great. Really, really great. So how does it measure up to those cigars that we had 15 years ago? I would have to get into a time machine and smoke these side by side. But as of right now, this is one of the best I've smoked from Alec Bradley. I think they might be back.
Hey man, I'm happy. We want to do the slow clap for him. You know what I'm saying? All right, Alec. That's what I want to hear from them. So I'm happy for that score. Now, we'll get into myself and what I got going on here. Now, with me, I got Brickhouse, one of our least favorite cigar brands. Next to Gurkha be in the least, Brickhouse right behind them. So, decided to get us one to try. It's the Brickhouse Classic. This was ranked number 10, I think it was, with Cigar International. Number 10 for the year 2024 by Cigar International. So, and if I remember, in the shop I was in, they had the rating from Aficionado, and they were rated pretty good. It was in the 90s there also. Now, for me, when I first started with this cigar, I noticed it was an interesting little aroma. I didn't know how to take it, if it was good or bad, but it was interesting. It intrigued me, the first aroma I got off of it. As I got into this cigar, I noticed that this cigar is a medium to full body stick, got a lot of rich notes on it. And this cigar was also very smooth cigar. Now, this is where you and I are similar at within our process. It seemed to be a lot going on, but it was blended very well. Yours went in two extremes and blended it well. This went with pretty much hitting all the basics. a lot to pick up on this stick, man. It went from cedar to earthy to woody to smoky woodiness to a little bit of coffee in the mix. It was nutty. It was spicy. It was some sweetness in there, man. I know I'm probably missing a ton because it was so much to keep up with, but it hit a lot of different flavor notes on this stick. And dare I say they did it well. They did it well. They found a way to make it work. Now, along with that, this cigar had, I would say, a good draw. Very enjoyable draw on it. It worked well. I enjoyed the stick. I had my mind made up that I was going to go somewhere probably between a 4.2 and a 4.3 for this brick house. 1 to 5. But the one flaw, and the flaw I dislike the most in the cigar is when it keeps going out. You have construction issues. Kept messing with my burn on it. Ended up uneven, and it kept going out. And it's like, I don't like when I have to keep giving attention to a cigar because you can feel it's about to go if you sit it down for a minute or so, or a minute or two. And that was the one complaint I have about it, which now is going to make me bring that 4.2, 4.3 where I couldn't decide, bring it on down. I don't know if it's going to be in the 4s, and I couldn't decide if I was going to go 4 even or 4.1. But because I've been so hard on Brickhouse in the past, I'm going to end up going with a 4.1 just to be polite to them. You know what I'm saying? To make up for all the evilness I've had against them, I'm going to bring it down to a 4.1 to be fair to them. So 4.1 is my final review of this Brickhouse Classic. I do understand why it was rated in the 90s, and I can understand why it would have been a top cigar for Cigars International. I'm not mad at that. So shout out to Brickhouse Classic. Yeah, been hard on you in the past, but good job with this classic.
Okay. Well, slow clap for Brickhouse. Didn't think I'd ever be saying that.
But, hey, man, Brickhouse, that don't mean the rest of your cigars don't stink, but you did do good with your classic. You know what I'm saying? So maybe I'll revisit some of the other ones with some of your darker wrappers, your Habanos and your Maduros and stuff, and, just see what you got.
Maybe I'll take a walk on the wild side and pick up a Brickhouse too. Maybe.
Yeah, man. Try the classic sometime in your free time. And I'm interested to see what you would think of it revisiting that stick, man. Very intrigued.
Okay. Well, there you have it. Alec Bradley with a comeback. Brickhouse with a comeback. It's comeback season, man. I guess, huh?
It's comeback season in 25, man. So shout out to all the brands, man, making sure that their legacy is remembered properly.
There you go.
Hey, we talked about it. Getting knocked down and getting back up is is what makes a champion. So, championship quality, Drew. Or not Drew, but Alec, and championship quality to JC Newman with this Brickhouse.
There you have it. I like it.
Yeah, man. Anyway, man, we up out of here, man. We appreciate y'all for tuning in to this week's episode of the Cigars and Everything Else podcast. Keep your sticks up high. Even though this